Okay, this video is going to be about solving quadratic equations using the factoring method. Well, if we're solving using factoring, the first thing you're going to have to do is get one side equal to 0. And since most of the function is already on the left side, you'll just have to zero out the right side. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. And then I even left it off. Make sure your writing is equal to 0. Now we have this quadratic, and we need to factor it. Well, then you have to ask yourself, are there factors of 21 that add up to 10? Remember this in one of the other videos, or anytime another teacher has taught you that. Factors of 21 are 3 and 7. 3 plus 7 add up to 10. You put it into 2 sets of parentheses, and then to find the zeros, you know, the roots where it'll touch the x-axis, you can either set each one of those to 0. X plus 3 is equal to 0. X plus 7 is equal to 0. But what I teach my students is, kind of as a shortcut, is whatever zeroes out positive 3, 3 plus what is equal to 0? Negative 3. And negative 7 zeroes out positive 7. And then you can put it in solution set. Since this is a solution, those are both x values, so don't put it in parentheses. Negative 7, as you read left to right on a number line, is smaller than negative 3. So I recommend putting negative 7 first, then negative 3. And it gets more complex when the lead coefficient is not 1. There's things that make this more difficult, but if you can look back and figure out how to factor, once you get things factored, finding the values that are the x is pretty simple. Let me show you something that would be a little bit more difficult. Let's say you had a quadratic, blah, 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 equal to 0. And when you factored it, it became 2x plus 5 times 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. Well, that's a little bit more complex. So you could go ahead and, whoops. I don't know what just happened, but you could write 2x plus 5 is equal to 0 and solve that, and 4x subtract 1 is equal to 0 and solve that. Or you could still write x is equal, and then do the inverse. What is the opposite of positive 5? Negative 5. What is the inverse of multiplying 2? Dividing 2. And over here, the inverse of the additive inverse of negative 1 is positive 1. The multiplicative inverse is division, so divide 4. So x is equal, negative is always smaller than a positive, so negative 5 halves, comma, 1/4. All right, that's it for this one.